Steel bistro sets, letterpress printing, bamboo ceramic lights, and asphalt compactors. The metal bistro set is a fixture in European-style cafes and small restaurants. The set consists of a small dining table and 2 chairs. A bistro set is also popular in homes with limited outdoor space, as there's usually enough room for one on a balcony or small patio. The small restaurant bar known as the bistro originated in 19th century France. Its iconic dining sets are still being produced today in both traditional and modern styles. This French factory makes them out of strips of flat steel with rounded edges. The first step is to flatten the strip with pressure-applying rollers. The steel then enters a press which does 3 operations simultaneously. It cuts pieces to the required length, rounds their ends, and punches out holes where required. These are parts for the table legs. Meanwhile, this computer-guided machine bends 12mm wide steel rod into a circle to form a ring that will support the tabletop. This table is collapsible to fold flat for storage. Therefore, 2 of the legs are hinged. A pin and notch lock them in the open position. After putting together the folding legs, a worker positions all the parts for the base on an assembly fixture. Then he starts up a welding robot. It welds all the crossbars, reinforcing the legs, and the legs to the ring. It takes about 2 minutes to weld all these parts into a folding table base. They make the tabletop from a square piece of sheet steel. This machine first shears off the corners, transforming the square into a circle. Then it draws the edge upward to form a 15mm high rim on what will be the underside of the tabletop. It also cuts a hole in the center for an umbrella pole and draws that edge as well. A worker mates the tabletop to the folding base. He inserts the ring into the tabletop's underside rim. Then he opens the base and uses spreading pliers to pull apart, then butt the ends of the ring. Next, he shields the underside of the table with a scrap piece of metal and welds the butted ends. The table is now fully constructed. The chair parts are cut on the same press as the table legs. Each chair has 2 long legs and 2 shorter legs. This machine simultaneously folds and twists the 2 shorter ones and folds the 2 longer ones. The operator then connects them with a crossbar. The next operator places these connected short legs in another machine. He adds washers to the protruding ends of the crossbar, then the 2 long chair legs, connecting them lower down with a crossbar. The machine welds that crossbar and forms each end of the other crossbar into a rivet, which creates the folding point for this collapsible chair frame. The next operator places the frame on another machine, positioning 3 holes on each side onto upright steel pins. He lays 2 steel slats for the chair back on these pins, then 5 more for the seat onto identical pins riveted to a pair of steel bars. The machine then forms the pins into rivets, attaching all the slats. He then assembles the seat to the frame, completing the construction of the chair. The tables and chairs go onto the paint line. The first station washes and dries the furniture. Next, a worker opens each one to spray paint the articulation points. Then automated nozzles paint the rest. This is industrial-grade powder paint, known as powder coat. A 10-minute trip through a tunnel oven at 190 degrees Celsius bakes it on. Workers apply product information stickers, cushion protruding parts with plastic covers, and enclose foot protectors. The Bistro Set is now ready. Just unfold and unwind.
Promote what makes your business great with Vistaprint. Whether it's a business card, a banner, or a postcard, we have the paper stocks, sizes, and design options to create marketing that's right for your business. Give it a try with 500 standard business cards starting at just $9.99 when you use code VP500 at vistaprint.ca.
The home collection from Canvas, inspired by Canada.
Whatever your journey, there's a Ford SUV to take you there.
I'm a huge personal finance nerd. I knew these basic concepts of invest in low-cost funds and don't try to beat the market. I don't think Wealthsimple really taught me about investing. I think that they handle the how for me beautifully, taking a lot of the stuff that we used to pay people to do with really high fees and getting a computer to do the parts that a human doesn't need to be doing.
So, how do they do it?
With one strike, we make a point.
È bellissima.
It's old technology, but don't be fooled into thinking that old means bad.
Back-to-back episodes of How Do They Do It? Weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern on Discovery Science.
In an electronic world where a few taps on a device keyboard sends an invitation or greeting card, it's not all that common anymore to receive something printed the old-fashioned way. Yet there's nothing quite as elegant as the crisp, recessed print that traditional letterpress printing produces. Letterpress printing is a centuries-old method that's made a comeback. The printing press makes an impression in the paper with raised type as it applies the ink. The printer first sketches out some design ideas. Then he detours into digital technology, finalizing the colors and composition, and choosing the font in traditional metal type. He cuts paper to the size of the greeting card he's making. This paper is 100% cotton, which is more pliable than standard wood fiber paper, enabling a deeper impression. Cotton paper is more delicate, so he has to cushion it while cutting. Otherwise, the clamp holding the stack would dent the paper. Now it's time to set up. He locates the selected font in the type cabinet. Each individual character, called a sort, is backwards, because backwards type prints forwards. He finds the sorts for the first line of text and lines them up left to right and upside down in a composing stick. Once he completes the type for the line, called a form, he clamps it in position. Then he takes a metal frame called a chase and mounts the form at a specific position inside it, filling the excess space with blocks of wood called furniture. Just below the piece of furniture that's underneath the form, he places a compression device called a coin and expands it with a key. This locks the form in position. He chooses each ink color from a fan deck, then follows the recipe to mix it. This is color extender, which works like paint thinner, diluting a dark color to a lighter shade. He mixes it into the ink, blending the two ingredients thoroughly. When the color matches the fan deck sample, he places a glob on a piece of cardboard and takes it over to the printing press. He applies it in dots all over the ink disc. Then he pumps on the treadle to run the rollers back and forth across the disc. This spreads the ink over the disc and onto the rollers. He inserts the chase containing the form into the bed of the press. Now a test run. He pulls the lever to bring the bed and platen together so that the form, inked by the rollers, creates an ink-filled impression in the paper. If the print is off a bit, he marks the correct position by pencil and installs gauge pins which will hold the paper there. The traditional way to secure gauge pins is with sealing wax. However, masking tape also does the trick. Now he's ready to start printing. No automation here. He manually places one sheet at a time in the gauge pins. The ink dries quickly because it's rubber-based and because cotton paper absorbs well. This printer's technique is a hybrid of traditional and modern, as he uses computer-generated graphics. He sends the digital file to a company that makes a polymer printing plate, which he mounts on an aluminum base that fits in the chase of the press. He switches plates to do the next graphic in a different color, layered over the first. The polymer plates marry the old and new technology by making it possible to print computer-generated graphics by traditional letterpress. After printing the inside of this greeting card as well, he uses a scoring rule mounted in another press to make a perfectly straight fold line down the middle of the paper. Beautiful textured print on elegant cotton paper, just like the olden days, before inkjets, e-cards, and e-vites.
So like when money started coming in, it was like upgrading the home. I was spending on those sort of things. And then when the kids came, forget about it. You can never have enough. 9-year-old asking for an iPhone 7. What are you talking about? Who are you gonna call? I have enough stuff. I don't have enough time. I want time now. So if I invest properly and just be more, I guess, financially intelligent, I can be more time rich and make chunks of the year where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna be a dad now.
The delicious taste of chocolate and creamy peanut butter are better together in new chocolate peanut butter Cheerios.
Crunchy oat flakes and hearty clusters, loaded with almonds. Oatmeal crisp almond, and now new oatmeal crisp coconut.
Your hair is so soft. Did you use Head and Shoulders 2-in-1?
I did, Mom. Wanna try it?
Yes.
It intensely moisturizes your hair and scalp and keeps you flake-free.
Manolo, look at my soft hair. I should be in the shot now, too. Try Head and Shoulders 2-in-1.
Charmin Ultra Soft.
It's softer than ever. Charmin Ultra Soft is softer than ever, so it's harder to resist.
Okay, this is getting a little weird.
Enjoy the go with Charmin.
I'm an emergency medical technician, constantly on the go. HelloFresh has come to our rescue. The ability to go online, have something for the next week, it's stress-free.
Go to HelloFresh.ca and use code MINT to get 3 free plates. We plan, we shop, we deliver, you cook.
See all around you. Bird's Eye View Monitor, available on the 2018 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Some things you just can't put down. Hands-free liftgate, available on the 2018 Toyota RAV4.
Bamboo ceramic lights add a touch of zen to any space. Made of ceramic and inspired by bamboo, they resemble bundles of tropical grasses, but they're not exact replications. These light fixtures offer an artistic interpretation of an exotic element of the natural world. Trying to create a tropical ambience? It's all in the lighting. These ceramic lights celebrate the natural beauty of bamboo and set the mood. Making the ceramic casing starts with a slurry of clay and water known as slip. A propeller mixer evenly distributes the particles. It flows through a hose and into plaster molds. The artisan controls the amount going in, ensuring that each one is filled just below the brim. Over 3 hours, the clay thickens and congeals along the edges. After pouring out the remaining slip, he trims the clay casting, which has a putty-like consistency. After leaving it to solidify a bit more, he carefully disassembles the mold, revealing the clay casting with the bamboo-like detail. During an overnight cure, the casting further solidifies and the color lightens. Using a knife, he adds more definition to some of the detail and cleans up the rough edges. He also shaves off protrusions formed where the mold parts came together. He lightly sands the entire bamboo ceramic casting to smooth any remaining imperfections. Using a wet sea sponge, he washes the entire casting. This softens the clay on the surface and gets rid of any minute scratches left by the sanding. He then cuts holes in the back of the casting. One is for installing the light socket, and the other is to run wires to the electrical junction box. With the clay surface still moist, he carves nodes or joints in the bamboo canes. He also cuts wide vertical lines to create the effect of cracks that occur in bamboo naturally during drying. After firing the clay casting in a kiln and then cooling it overnight, it has become a strong, durable piece of ceramic. This craftsperson examines it for imperfections and then begins the painting process. She sprays a very light yellow paint onto the bamboo ceramic. It gives the piece just a hint of color, but it provides the desired undertone. Next, she mixes a green oil paint with thinner and then brushes it into the grooves and notches. This accentuates these areas. She also brushes it onto the edges of the bamboo ceramic light box to better define the profile. Using a soft cotton cloth, she blots up some paint from the palette and wipes it on the ceramic. This softens the brush strokes and gives the ceramic cane structure a hint of green. She sets the light casing on a revolving stand and inspects the coverage. She then applies a liberal amount of brown paint to the entire piece. And the brown color completely overpowers the green and yellow paints. She rubs off a lot of the brown paint. This tones it down and subtly brings out the other colors. This produces color variations that evoke the different tones of dried bamboo. The paint transforms the piece. After a protective clear coat has been applied, a technician inserts the socket and pulls the wires through one of the holes and out the back. He secures the socket in the light box from the back with a washer and nut. He turns the fixture upright and screws in the light bulb. And that completes this bamboo ceramic light fixture. Making it has taken roughly a week, and the final result is very unique. So while providing illumination, it may also be an object of conversation.
Weather and unbelievable moments make for an action-packed season. All New Highway Through Hell, Tuesdays at 10 Eastern, only on Discovery.
Oh, how was the open house?
So good. Look, 800 square feet, 1 bedroom, hardwood floors, 15-minute ride to work.
Dude.
I know.
Your credit score must be amazing.
My credit score? How do I check?
Credit Karma. It's free.
That's great. That's super easy. That's a credit score.
Just whip, bam, bum. It's done.
Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Eyes over there, dude. This apartment's hers.
Fine.
Thank you.
The home collection from Canvas. Inspired by Canada.
Leon's Don't Pay a Cent event. Make no payments, not even the taxes or fees, and pay no interest until January 2020 on everything in the showroom OAC. Plus, save when you buy 5 or more major appliances. Leon's Don't Pay a Cent event ends soon.
Made with a touch of real honey and real whole grain oats. Honey Nut Cheerios. Real good.
Sometimes, my body just can't catch a break. Tylenol Muscle and Body is specially formulated to relieve tough muscle and body pain fast for up to 8 hours. So, I'm ready for what's next.
I was looking for somebody who wanted to find love.
We ask you questions so that we can match you for a lasting connection.
I found my person.
I really found my true love on eHarmony.
eHarmony.ca, the tried and tested dating site. Start for free today. Must be 18 or over.
I'm the doctor. When people need help, I never refuse. Let's get a shift on. What do we do?
Why are you asking her?
Because she's in charge, bro.
Says who?
Says us.
Doctor Who, all new episode, Sunday at 8. On Space. Free preview on now.
All right, guys, here's my big idea for this one. So take extreme and go more extreme.
Goblin Works Garage, Wednesdays 8 Eastern on Discovery Velocity.
Asphalt compactors are the heavy rollers of paving. They're equipped with vibrating drums that weigh several tons. The shear load, in combination with the mechanical vibrations, compact new pavement. This locks the aggregate particles together to provide a strong and stable road. The asphalt compactor vibrates as it applies its weight to fresh pavement, and this removes air pockets that could ruin the road. To make this critical piece of road-building equipment, a computerized plasma torch cuts into heavy-gauge steel. The operator selects the programs that guide the cutting. The torch cuts out the compactor's body panels, the plates for the rollers, and many other parts. A worker welds the front of the compactor frame together, and he attaches bracket plates for a pivot hinge steering system. A worker guides a steel plate into a rolling machine. The machine shapes the thick steel into the shell of a compactor roller. It takes a few passes through the machine to establish the correct radius. The operator verifies the rolled steel meets specifications. The crane transfers the rolled steel to a fixture that positions bulkheads within the shell. It then lifts the shell with the bulkheads and fixture onto a table, and a worker wraps cables around it. He adjusts the length of the cables with a thick steel pin. He tucks brackets behind the cables at the seams to protect them during the welding that's to come later. He installs chains and tightens them to hold the shell steady on the table. He then activates the squeezer. Hydraulically powered, it pulls the cables to close the gap in the shell, and while the cable keeps the seam tight, he tack welds the seam and bulkheads from the inside. With the tack welds holding everything together, a robot does the full welds on both the seam and the bulkheads. The seam weld is large and protrudes from the shell. The next worker grinds it flush to the rest of the shell so that it will roll smoothly. After a thorough wash, it's into a paint booth to be sprayed first with epoxy primer and then urethane paint. The rollers then spend about 50 minutes in an oven to bake on the coatings. An electric tug transfers them to the assembly line. Here, the rear half of the compactor frame is taking shape. A worker bolts a hitch to it. He attaches a hydraulic steering cylinder to the hitch and secures it with a thick steel pin. The next worker screws guide pins to the hitch. He runs hydraulic hoses to the front section and links the rear structure to the front. Next, they lower the diesel engine into the front frame. They anchor it by driving thick bolts into substantial engine mounts. A center pivot link provides a second connection between the front and back parts of the compactor. A worker torques the bolts that secure the link to the back. Moving forward, they lower the operator platform into place, complete with the seat and the controls. They secure the control base to the frame with bolts in the 4 corners. The compactor is now ready for the 2 rollers. They've been equipped with vibrating mechanisms since we saw them last. The team bolts the back roller in place and then connects the lines for the hydraulic systems that drive it. This worker also equips it with lights to illuminate the road during night paving. They install the second roller and connect the hydraulic and electrical lines. They calibrate the rollers to ensure they operate at the same speed. They adjust the pivot steering if needed. And then, it's time to roll.